Step in this bitch and I'm ready to win. No welling, yeah, that shit on my shirt.
You definitely right about that.
Hey, young fella, let me tell you something, man. We need you to speak up more.
Hey, one thing
You understand what I'm
thought
saying?
I was on your journal like a year or two ago when you first really got on your thing before you got a position you was at. You was supposed to help me get a job. I told you, I ain't gonna lie, you ain't help me out, man.
What's up with it? No welling, man. Real quick. Sorry about that in the background, man. I'm in the car. I've been, working on this joint like 4 a.m. I ain't been sleeping like, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I ain't been sleeping like 3-4 days, man. I'm dead, I'm beat. Real lie about the crash, man. There's just been a lot going on. I've been trying to, trying to work. I got a lot of shit going on with my trucking shit and all that, man. So, anyway, but enough about me. I remember a time, first off, let me say, this live right here, you got the brother Trayon White. Shout out to Trayon White, the council member. You got Jimmy Jenkins, and you got Youngin. Actually, Lucky Juan made an appearance on this live. You got a Youngin on a live. They pretty much speaking about, this new bill that's bringing light to this new bill that they bringing light to in D.C. Real quick, and right here, let's look at this. Revive a 90s era anti-loitering drug-free zone tactic. I mean, that right there, that kind of scary. Now y'all know that's putting more of a thin line between our rights and their probable cause. Then they also talking about the engagement with the youth and what some ideas or topics of with the youth and who's accountable, whether it be the parents, like they should be more accountable for their children and stuff like that. All right, real quick, because I know somebody gonna come in here and say, man, you rap and let the live play, and I find that very, very crazy and odd, because this is my YouTube. I could post what I want, I could say what I want. I don't come on y'all job kicking dicks out y'all mouth. So let me work, let me do me respectfully. I'm humble. I don't disrespect nobody, so don't come in my comments, man, disrespectful. But if you do, I don't care. I could play the game too. Anyway, I remember a time, I wasn't even born yet, honestly. I grew up in Mayfair. That's where, that was my first neighborhood, everything, first kiss, first fight, everything, right? And I used to think Mayfair and Paradise I didn't even know we was living in the hood. I didn't know we was in the ghetto. Obviously, until, all the shots, all the gunshots, and constantly getting under the bed with my grandmother. I didn't know we was in the ghetto, because Mayfair and Paradise was like the most prettiest neighborhood to me. Especially Paradise. Paradise was number 1, but Mayfair was number 2 right beside them. We was only separated by a wall. I thought Paradise and Mayfair was the prettiest motherfucking neighborhoods ever. I didn't know I was in the ghetto. As a little boy, 4 or 5 years old, walking around the whole neighborhood, I didn't know I was in the ghetto. I didn't know nothing about a ghetto. I didn't know I lived in the hood. But I remember a time, and this was before I was born, maybe 5-some years before I was born, like 88 or 89. One of the 80s, I remember the NOI actually invaded Mayfair. Because I saw it on the tape. My uncle was part of it. I saw it on the tape. It was called the Dope Busters. They formed a certain unit called the Dope Busters. They went up in the neighborhood in Mayfair and actually slammed drug dealers, body slamming niggas. Wasn't fear, no gun, no none of that. No, none of that. They went smack in the neighborhood when all this drug dealing was going on, and DC was really at a bad period. They went in there and really, no fear, deep Muslims went in there fighting, chasing. You see drug dealers running and everything, and if I can find it, I promise you, I'll put it in this joint. But they was running, doing whatever they could to do. And I'm not saying this generation is capable of doing it. I'm not saying this is the politician's job or people that speak for whatever, but I do feel like it should be more of an aggressive approach too. And although everybody is not in the streets because they have to be, or it's only their only option. I don't believe that. I believe everybody got a decision. I believe everybody got an option, because it's a trap. It's really a trap for us to go out there and put our life on the line and be looking over our shoulder every day. So we just got to find different outlets and hold certain people accountable. And I'm not perfect. I did a lot of shit when I was 15, 16. I pulled moves. I did all that. But I quickly did realize at 19, after constantly getting put out of these schools and shit, that I had to do something. I had to do something. I had to take control of my life. My mother wasn't going to do it for me. My father got killed when he was 18, 17. You know what I mean? So I didn't have no choice, but I had to do something. Anyway, so let's get to this live. It's a lot of good information being put in this live. So like I said, shout out to Jimmy Jenkins, shout out to Trayon White, shout out to the young brother that came on, shout out to Lucky Juan, and the sister that was on. Yeah, man, it is what it is. No wonder. And also, if somebody watching this and confused why the brothers is getting locked up, why they locking the Muslim brothers up, actually they said, I'm gonna do another video on this. I got y'all, but actually they locked the brothers up because they said that they were kind of out of line, going in their neighborhood. They're citizens. They shouldn't be going in there, roughing people up or having physical altercations. And they also said that the cameraman, after they beat like one of the drug dealers, they was actually beating one of the drug dealers up that had pulled out a gun. They turned and beat the cameraman up, the guy that was recording. Somebody that was recording, they actually beat him up, and he said that they kicked him in the eye. So that's why you see the Muslims getting locked up and all that. Everybody wasn't for them doing what they did, like came in and patrolling the neighborhood, but a lot of the community, a lot of the neighbors wanted them to keep doing that. Like this regular civilians, they wanted the Muslims to come in the neighborhood and do that. But yeah, no better, man. Enjoy the live. Learn something.
The laws were too old. There were too many loopholes. And one of the other major issues was that the DC Crime Lab had failed accreditation twice. And so the city, between the mayor and the council, started taking evidence because lawyers got smart. They saying if you use this accreditation, this unaccredited forensic lab, we're saying that we're going to throw the case out because it's not, we don't know if it's legit or not. And so people were coming home because the lab wasn't adequate to convict people of a crime, right? And so DC started privatizing and using the federal government to test for forensics, to test for DNA, test for ballistics on crime scenes. And it's not just shootings, it's all crimes, right? Which pushed a lot of the cases back, got a lot of cases thrown out. And, because, you got time to bring your case forward. You got time constraints. One of the other things is that, as you know, most of the crimes that were committed, people had masks on. And so DC, it's hard to, when you even got it on camera, to convict anyone because they had a mask. Now, creating a blanketed statement, saying, and part of what was shown in these clips wasn't totality the bill. Mind you, you got a person trying to put an 85-page document into, I guess, five different slots on an Instagram post, which not the totality of the bill. But some of the language is controversial and unconstitutional, especially around the piece. So for me, and being transparent, when I go to meetings, people are like, man, how the hell we got people outside for hours in front of a store selling drugs and the police sitting right there? You've been there at the meetings? They pretty much saying, why do DC got, they say not only are they sitting outside, man, they got chairs out there now. They got crates out there. They smoking in front of the police. They selling drugs. So this is the narrative that's drummed up. And the second piece is a lot of these areas where people are hanging out is where the shootings are happening at over and over again. And so these bills was proposed by one, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the police department is heavily law enforcement driven, even to the fact where they're trying to say that a police officer can now go check his or her body camera footage before writing their reports, saying they are disciplined on the job. Their information can be redacted from the public, which I don't agree with. You're a sworn in public servant. It should be transparent what's going on in your docket as a police officer. You're not a regular civilian. Right. And so part of my amendments was in these drug-free zones, add that should be wraparound services. We added not just the police, but DBH, Department of Behavioral Health, the Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, DOES, Department of Employment Services. We added about 4 different other agencies that we focus on providing services, DYRS, DPR, to these areas, instead of just the police department and law enforcement. Because I don't know if you saw about 2 Fridays ago when I was on the radio talking about this bill. I think it was 2 Friday. It wasn't last Friday. It had to be even last
Friday before last.
Friday before last. I talked about that morning. the U.S. Attorney General that's designated for D.C. Designated more resources for the FBI and law enforcement to be in D.C. People not paying attention, because when you talk about 900 something carjackings in a city where on K Street a congressman got carjacked, it's going to escalate. But we know that mass incarceration has not been the solution to drive down crime in the district, because we all have been affected by that directly or indirectly for those who are Washingtonians. So now there's the opportunity to find a healthy balance to not go back to the 94 crime bill that removed predominantly African American men from their families, which didn't make the community any safer.
Yeah.
And so this is a layered bill that came through the mayor's office, came through Brooke Pinto's office, and several other members to combine to make this one bill, right? I met with her and a group of organizations and individuals from the returning citizen population to figure out what the healthy balance was, and some of them supported part of the bill. On that call was I guess Courtney, Tony Lewis, Erg Weaver, Al Malik Farrakhan. It was probably about 50 to 75 people. Ukia, Hughie, Wilson. It was a lot of who was it? It was a lot of people. It was also
So
Big
let
South
me
from down Southwest. But I wanted to hear, like, what are some of the questions people have, because I can give clarity to the questions.
So for me, right, it was brought to me about a lot of the younger dudes, they pay attention. People don't think they pay attention, right? But what they really be afraid of is, you know what I'm saying, like, they don't want to be spent. You know what I'm saying? That's why they'll come to a person like myself or you, right? But the question they really been asking is, like, some of them haven't received none of this information. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I know I ain't see it. You know what I'm saying? So I know if I ain't really know until like bits and parts of it, I'm sure they probably don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for me, I agree with that. And for me, it has evolved over time, because at first it was a part of the legislation that I fought against, that if you on probation parole, that the police can just stop you on the street and search you. Well,
Right.
how can the police know who is on the probation or parole by just seeing you? You know what I'm saying? So that part, so it was a lot. This been going, like I said, this been going on for almost a year and a half, 2 years, and so there were a lot of pieces taken out already to get to what this potential final product is, right? And so some people knew about that, and people was talking about that part, because that was probably one of the most craziest
Right.
parts to it.
Right.
And I'm thinking that it, the information didn't always reach those who needed it the most or were affected by it the most.
So I'm gonna start pinning some of the questions for you, Trey.
All right, I'm gonna do my best. I'm on 15%. I had to come outside to get some Wi-Fi, because I couldn't get no service.
Got your man right here.
Hey, they need to be involved in this conversation dialogue. And see, look at him. Look at him. He doing some homework. What are you doing? Yeah, Jerry.
Yeah, they worked out all day. They trying to get them
All right.
sugar back. We got one question right here. This is Boosie says, what we gonna do about it?
That's the question, man. And I'm gonna tell you like this, man. Even when I saw all the comments today or the last couple of days about it, reality is people get online and talk ragged shit and don't do nothing, right? They the people most affected by it the most are least engaged. That's why I do a lot of online videos and talks, and I have like Zooms where I put my Zooms on social media so people can see and hear some of the discussions that's happening. Because the reality is, most people in DC support this bill, and it's been surveys given out, it's been dialogue, it's been community meetings. I've been at the meetings all around the city, not just in Ward 8, because people are tired of the violence in the city. But this is not the end-all solution to addressing crime by just mass incarceration. It has to be a totality of things that happen. And so what people can do, people can write Councilman Pinto. They can write my office. I'm not on the district committee, but I do have a vote, so they can write the council member who is introducing the bill, Brooke Pinto. I'm gonna get her email and put it in the chat.
Somebody said, if more money is already being distributed to police enforcement now, why encourage racism policies?
Pin it, Jimmy, so I can read it.
I just pinned that drink.
If more money is already being distributed to police enforcement now, why encourage racist policies? He is right. This part is a bigger plan. So, so that goes to the counter narrative, because there was also a narrative that the DC government or the council defunded the police. That's not true. That's not true. Even the news was saying it. People in the streets were saying it because the mayor kept saying it. And the reality is that the police department budget has not decreased. There was a time when the mayor offered more money to increase the budget of the police department, and it didn't get increased, but it was never decreased, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? So that, because it was a defunded police movement across the country, especially after some of the police killing situations that was happening repeatedly all over the country. And so people can come down and organize. It's a public building. People can submit their testimonies and speak at these hearings. It's, to be honest, it's late. It's in the fourth quarter at this point, and there's enough votes to get it passed. Now, I'm going to introduce my amendments. What is that when you go to the community meetings, overwhelmingly, people who are engaged are saying DC has to do something about this crime because it's out of control. It's people going to jail, getting locked up, coming home, and doing the same thing over and over again. So there's another level of accountability that has to happen in the community as well, because this is our uncles, our brothers and sisters, our fathers, our nieces and nephews that's involved in the violence. So it has to be a balance in the streets too, because we've had over 700 people shot in DC last year. We talk about the 200 or so that died, but we ain't talking about the people that 700 got killed. Shot last year. The over 500 the year before that, and in 2020, I want to say 2022, it was 922 people shot in DC. 922 people shot. We talk about the 200 that died, but it was 922 people shot in DC, and that's give or take a few, because some people got shot more than once and more than one occasion. And so there is argument on both sides, which I understand and I listen to. But people gotta get involved. Like you can't complain on social media if you're not even going to your child's parent-teacher association meetings. If there's ANC commissioner meetings in your community and you don't show up, if there's PSA meetings in your community, you don't show up. If you are not actively participating in the regular things and speaking to your children when they come home from school, checking their temperature, making sure they're not storing guns in your house, right? Because most of these youngers, they staying somewhere. They sleeping on somebody's couch. They got a bed in somebody's house, and they running these people's houses, and now it's putting your living situation in jeopardy, because depending on your living circumstances, if someone is on your property with legal firearms, they can put you out. Not only you gonna get put out, but then it affects you and your other kids, especially if you're in public housing or subsidized housing. So it got to be a healthy balance to what's going on, because this is we've lost 20,000 African Americans in Washington, D.C. in the last 10 years. And those are the ones that was documented. We ain't talking about the couch surfers, those who stand with grandma or auntie, or living in the basement, or sleeping on the couch, or bond up with their girl, or vice versa. We ain't talking about those. We talking about people that was documented in the sense that we lost 20,000 black people in D.C. in the last 20 years, and not due to death. I'm talking about moved out.
Man, it's tough, man. I just know, man, seeing that bill it was just crazy. I know so many people want to get involved. So many people want to help. I just feel like, people can just start in their own house, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, people can start right there. You know, if everybody took care of home, I think we can cut back on some of these issues. But my side to it though, council member, is that you know a lot of people don't understand that say they want to push for some of these bills. Um, is how for so long, I don't know the exact years, but DC haven't had resources to help our youth for so many years. You know what I'm saying? And now, right now, all we doing is seeing results for almost 10 years of not having programming that prevented violence, that prevented crime,
Yeah.
available in the streets. And so it's now like, we got $19.5 billion budget, and one of our solution is is lockup. I get it. You know what I'm saying? Hold people accountable that's out here doing what they're doing, right? But there's some young people who want to be successful, right? Who want to go to college. They don't feel safe neither, right? So what's some solutions for them? Because all it takes is one kid to go to school that want to do right to get robbed and change their mind. You know what I'm saying? Or somebody from a neighborhood pull
Well,
up on them. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I had a
Yeah.
little brother who was 14 years old, wasn't carrying no guns, was coming home from working out at the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because he lived around the way, you know what I'm saying? He got hit up at
Yeah.
14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, what are we talking about? You know what I
And
mean?
so, we started that conversation probably about 8 years ago. And since then, we put money in the budget to open up, to build originally 4 new recreation centers.
Right.
2 are under construction right now. One in Congress Heights, one in Anacostia. Congress Heights, and one behind
Yep.
Ketchum, right? And so now it's up to 6 right now. But that's still not enough when you talk about the number of youth that need outlets and resources. So I don't want to act like that is going to solve or get us where we need to be. And I think that we have to spend more time creating a strategy about what we want to see in our community, because it's an old saying that if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. And I
Yeah.
post a lot of stuff trying to get people on Zooms and in the hearings and things like that. But the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few.
Yep.
But when I go online, people comment all day long, all day long, all day long. And I say, show up for the basic stuff. We talk about SNAP benefits that assist people who need money the most coming out of the pandemic. That's getting taken. We talking about ERAP, Emergency Rental Assistance Program. I was talking about ERAP 2 years ago, because when we got the budget, we had $8 million in the budget for ERAP. We knew that we spent $8 million in 2 months.
Mm.
So I had hearings. I had 3 community meetings about that in the community, and then we ended up getting the budget to about $43 million. And now the money is the system crashing. People can't access it. So the amount of homelessness and hopelessness is about to exacerbate in DC. It's going to be unprecedented, and that's going to cause more crime. And so, to your point, Jimmy, I agree with you, because even when you look at the one's office, we're trying to get money out the door and it's stagnant. I don't even know what happened to building blocks. Building blocks were designed to put, they said it was $100 million, but it says 50 million and 50 million, total 100 over the course of 2 years to provide wraparound service and resources for the highest risk youth and provide activities, right?
Mm.
I thought it since what, 2020, 2022,
Mm.
2024.
20. Well, building blocks.
Yeah.
Started it.
It's supposed to touch.
Man, yeah.
It's supposed to touch. You was there 152 blocks of
Yeah.
intensive resources and wraparound services to get youth, young adults, jobs, skills, training, mental health services, substance abuse, and they mapped out all these different blocks throughout the city. It started in Lower Anacostia, and I haven't seen it go nowhere since. What's the next question, Jim? I'm on 6%. I'm
Next question is, if the system listens to the parents when we tell them to keep our child, the system lets them go. So we have no right.
That's true too, because some parents are saying that my son don't listen, man. He out in and out the house, and if he get in trouble, that means my other kid is gonna potentially be homeless. And they saying that he getting arrested, but he back home. I saw something where a father said that his foster child was did a carjacking and was home the next day, and he was like, how the hell he back home? But everybody is entitled to due process. This is America, right? And so part of what this bill is giving the authority to keep people detained that are committing violent crimes. Now some agree and disagree with that, but that's what it is. And it lists out from carjacking to homicide to stabbings. It got it in the bill. This 85 pages of words, and words got meanings.
Dang, man. Doing laws.
I say so, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that bill. Y'all over exaggerating. Y'all ends don't do to the laws. Just strict, bro. Face it. What the fuck can you do with this type of? So that's somebody who's in support of the bill.
Yeah. Keep
the same
the
way. It's Coach Mark. Keep the same way. These places are overcrowded, which is DYS. Yeah, DYS was overcrowded. They got a little bit of numbers down, but the reality is, even the jail has more people over DC jail than I've seen. I go over jail probably more than most. More people over the jail than I've seen in a long time. Even DYS. And DYS numbers are really low when you look at it. I mean, Oak Hill used to have almost 800, 900 people in it. DYS got 200 and something committed youth. So the number, I mean, in retrospect, it's really not what it used to be. Oak Hill
it's a little.
people.
I think I don't know if it's a young person. It says y'all need to hear a child point of view.
I agree with that. I had 2 youth hearings last year in the community on the weekends, but that's still not enough. We can do more. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm. I know he's been commenting. I don't know if that's he or she, but they've been commenting the whole time. I think also, just like the thing you say, when things go down, we got to kind of do a better job. I remember Pinto saying that she was going to get back to the youngins and hear from them, but, she didn't follow up and get back to a lot of the youngins. She said when I went to the library, John, too, I think sometimes, one thing I used to love that you do is be able to hear from people before you put your bills out.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people just do a little sprinkle and just to show their face and not really hear from the people.
Yeah.
Because I think.
So I got 2%. Jimmy, let me say this. So Brooke Pinto did a community walk all across the district. She came to Ward 8. You remember that?
Yeah.
Is that when you saying she made promises to the youth and they follow up?
Yeah, she had the hearing at the
Oh,
Ride
she had
Center.
a hearing.
Remember,
Okay.
youth
Oh yeah.
jump, she had the hearing.
Oh, we did the joint hearing together. Did I did? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
To make money
And
for
the walk community did go her road, and people was adamantly saying, "Man, it's too many people hanging out, sitting out here on drugs." That's what people were saying. I wasn't there that day, but I read the notes from my staff, and I watched some of the videos.
I want to add this young person right here. He or she got to send me a request though. It's hard to make money for us, for us to be supporting the government that don't provide for us.
And I just introduced a bill that's going to allow for students to get paid while in school by being peer mediators. But again, it has
send
to
me
be
a request.
Send
me a request so we can add you.
Not introduced yet. Let me correct that.
I need them to send me a request.
Facilities for those kids. We have something called the Oasis program where parents can send their kids to get out the community for a while, but it's to help those who haven't been detained or locked up. So this is saying that I can't get no help for my child until he or she get locked up. And so that's a new program through DYS called the Oasis program. You should look it up, sign up. And also we has DC Youth Challenge Academy that's also in Laurel, that's away from the city, that provide education, housing, and food that your kid can go to as well, that most people don't know about. I'm on 1%. I got to figure this damn battery out.
You sent 1, 2? Who that right there, 2? Let me see.
It's so hard for us to make money. Yeah, we need to create year-round. We got a year-round program like a summer job, but it's only limited slots. There's no way we got $20 and got limited slots.
Hey, Jimmy.
How you doing?
Hey. So I just wanted to know, like, what is
you cover your phone up?
You can't see me?
It got lower.
Yeah, you cover the mic pot. There you go. We
You
can
see?
I can
Okay.
see.
Hey, so I just wanted to know, like, we all know that there's like an attack at war, right?
Yeah.
Um, where the youth are concerned. But my thing is, it has to start, like you said, it does have to start at home. However, it's sometimes difficult because sometimes their issue starts at home. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So sometimes, even though, people can say it all the time, like, oh, you need to check on your children, you need to do this, you need to do that. You're not factoring in what's going on at home for them to make the decisions that they make outside on the street. You don't know what they're dealing with. So we have an attack going on, in the city, and then they have no outlets. They have
Yeah.
nothing to do. And then everything is expensive. So the children are trying to find ways to fit in because let's be clear, right now everybody is on like a brand thing, right? If you're not wearing a certain brand, if you're not wearing a certain thing, then you're not part of
I was
the
gonna
in
tell
crowd,
you.
which makes
Yeah.
our children think that they have to wear these things and they have to do these things to be part of the in crowd, and that's just not true. So for like like I commented before, I have sent requests to the office of Trayons because I do have a nonprofit. I talked to you about it as well, and nothing happened. Right? Trying to get money and grants. Done book bag giveaways. I've given away breakfast and lunch and things like that just off my own dime, and it's okay because I have 3 sons and I don't want them in the street. But we have to figure out something so that they can be able to come and talk. Like, remember, we had programs growing up, like for us, for women, well, for girls, it was girls talk, right? So they gave us like a phone. We had like check-ins and things like that. They had like sports clubs for the boys and the young men. They had all of these different programs, and not just football, basketball. All children are not um interested in sports, just like all females are interested in cooking. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So we have to figure out something to do for them as well as the parents. It has to be on both ends. It has to be for the adults and it has to be for the children, because if you have if the people that's supposed to be checking on them are not together, then it's like the blind leading the blind.
Nah, you right.
So it's just like, yeah, something has to happen because it's bad. And I worked in the jail for 13 years, so I know the numbers are extremely high, right? But again, it has to start somewhere, because what do we do? Like, you saying not hold them accountable, but like, honestly, what do you do if a gun to your head while you walking down the street? What you just say? Oh, because he a kid, like you're not gonna do nothing. You get what I'm saying? Like, it has to be some type of
Yeah.
medium.
So and that's my point is that everybody know that if folks commit crime and you if you're in the street, you should know there's consequences to whatever
For
you do.
sure. Right.
I don't care if you're doing a crime. I
Hmm.
don't care if you're making somebody. I don't care if you're beefing with somebody. There is a reaction to whatever you do in the streets, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying is, why are we focusing on the crime and the violence, right?
Hmm.
That's what we've been failing at for years when we dealing with our people or people dealing with our people, right?
Correct.
We're focusing on the response to an underlying issue.
Right.
We never focus in on the reason why folks are participating in a lot of these things. We got to get to
Hmm.
the root of most of these issues. Violence is a result to poverty.
Correct.
Violence is a result to displacement.
Hmm.
Violence is a result to the conditions that we live in. It's not a young person's fault that they got to go through trauma, that they got to live in poverty. It's not a young person's fault. That young person that asks to come into this world and be into poverty, to experience trauma, to see the domestic abuse, the substance abuse, all of these things. And then
Right.
you talk about a poor education system with no wraparound resources that address some of these issues. And then you talk about growing up in a neighborhood where some of these things are being plagued the most, right? And so
Right.
then you fall in that track, but nobody never really cared to address the things that you have been struggling with or dealing with all your life.
Correct.
And you talk about
But that goes back to, like I said, that goes back to, yes, everything, poverty, plays a major issue, right? But right now, our issue, one of the bigger issues is mental and behavioral health. People have, if you take a bottle, right, and you shake it, right? If the top is on, nothing is going to happen. It's just going to get a little tight, right? When you open the top to that bottle, it's going to explode, right? So that is how some of these people brains are working. They are holding so many things in, and they are using everything else. They're using violence as their outlet. And they think that it's okay, because you also have to look at what they are shown on TV. They think that it's okay to rob and to steal, because again, that's all that they seeing. That's all that they saying. They're only seeing violence
so so let
and
me
money.
so let me tell you
Successful.
this. And that's what I'm saying. I think they should be held accountable, right? But what I'm also saying is you teaching them accountability in a way where they still not addressing the underlying issues,
Correct.
right? The household's supposed to correct those things right away. If I
Correct.
tell you at 5 and 7 years old, don't touch that plug over there, and
Don't touch it.
you go touch that plug, I'm addressing that issue.
Correct.
If your teacher call home when you 11 years old, and I'm arguing with your teacher instead of getting on you about your behavior and you not doing your work, that's a line of accountability. If you get suspended in my household, but yet I still buy you some Balenciagas, but yet I still let you be on the game, but yet I still let you get on FaceTime, there's no accountability that's being put into your life. So then when you get out in the streets, you got that same mentality with that same behavior. You understand
Correct.
what I'm
But
saying?
my thing is, you cannot hold. Yes, but accountability goes, because a person cannot be accountable for someone and they not accountable for themselves. So you asking a parent that it's not accountable to be accountable for someone else.
No,
Also,
I'm not saying. What I'm saying is this. I said
That's
establish it
in the
early on
house.
in the
No,
house.
yeah, I agree. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
let me say this. People say that it's not cool to have your kids fear you, right?
Right.
I want my kid to know you need to be more scared of me than the
I
streets.
agree.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't raise you that way,
Right.
I'm gonna lose you to the
well. That's the
streets.
key
Correct.
word though, Jimmy. Raise. It's a disconnect in the black family because right now
They want to
we
be
got a lot of
friends.
single parent households, predominantly raised by African American women. It's a breakdown in the family structure, right? And I say this because I was at my son game on Friday night, and he live in Maryland, and I started talking to a lot of men. It was in the bleachers, right? And 5 out of 6 of the men in the bleachers, guess what they had on their finger? A ring. I was like, damn. These men got on rings, man, and they was at their son game with me. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? I was like, that's not. I don't see that too much,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt convicted. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not married, but it's like the structure of the family could be stronger if we had two parent households of people both vested into that child. And once that's broken, it causes a lot of other things to happen within the family. And to your point about the nonprofit, use or the work in the community, we tried to create a nonprofit incubator hub within the community that we haven't got to fruition yet, that we still trying to get funded. And it takes the push of the people. So people don't know how much power they got or who they really are. And if you don't know who you are, you be tricked into believing something that you're not. And that's what's happening with our youngest. I'm in the schools throughout the week, and I'm listening to these youngest, man, and they being tricked out of their position because there's so many things coming their way with information. You got youngest that's 24, leading youngest that's 15, and those are
Yeah.
OGs on the block. 24,
But
leading.
then also, you know what? Some of them are, like I said, I came from working inside of the facility, and also, like, I'm talking to them, I'm asking questions. Like, I want to know what's going on. Like, why would you even do that? Why in the heck? My question is, why would you rob them? You get what I'm saying? Like, I want to know, what was you thinking about when this happened? And it'd be like, man, I don't even know. Man, like
critical thinking
you.
skills.
Yeah, you don't even, you have nothing to say. You don't understand what's going on, and you don't even get it. But then they have nobody in their immediate circle that's telling them that this is not okay. Robbing somebody that work hard for this stuff is not okay. It's just not okay. In no way you slice it. I don't care how hungry you are. There are resources for you to eat. Robbing somebody because you want it is not okay, because if the shoe is on the other foot and somebody robs your family member, you got a problem. But yet you out here, you really checking shit. You get what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
out here, you bracing anything coming. But the minute something happened to you or your family, you not understanding it. They not getting it. Like it's a full circle. You robbing them and then they robbing him and you don't know who. So now they pissed off and now y'all starting a war down the street for something that don't even matter. It's just they need something to do. They need something to do and they need incentives for doing the right thing.
And I agree with that, because I see somebody say that half people are related. DC too small. Jimmy, if there's a young person on here, raise your hand. We want to bring you on.
Yeah.
It's very important to get one of the youth voice.
Yeah.
Nah,
Let me
fact.
let me. I'm about to
Second
add
one,
him.
what's up, bro?
I'm about
What's
to
up?
add the young boy right there.
All right.
I want to add him. He look like a young guy. Let me see if I can add him.
Nah, I work in the school system too. So all day you just being around the
I'm gonna
different
bring you
youth, you just kind of
Queen.
you just being around the youth, you could just
Okay.
see where the downfalls is at for real. Because being around them, I feel like even with having a person like me that's young, that's 24, working around the kids, it's like you can see that the connection is
I
gone. But
got
with
you.
me, it's there. You feel what I'm
Well,
saying? When they talk to me, it's a whole different. You feel what I'm saying? It's like
But
they can't really
let me
relate.
say this. Let me say this too, because the system, I have to argue with the deputy mayor and the deputy mayor for public safety and, and the mayor, because like people like you that was with records have been removed out of the schools. I had Cody to call me. I had Durkee from Mute the Violence to call me, saying they were working in the school and got removed from the school because they're record. These are individuals we need with the cultural competencies to help redirect them. You know what I'm saying? And teachers are not equipped to handle behavior in a classroom that's being disrupted. Their job is to teach. They don't have time to be running back and forth dealing with behavior, mental health. Some
hey,
kids high in the morning
big,
in their schools. So you got to get the community and put the nonprofit organizations and the community back into the schools, because the school is a part of the community.
Nah, fact.
Who we
big,
got, Jimmy?
big for WAP. I'm trying to add him. He not accepting it.
Oh yeah, I seen him on here.
Somebody say I'm a young.
Somebody said
Yeah, if you
Paperweight
want to get
Hunter.
on, tell them they gotta send a request.
Once I can say this too. I feel like a lot of the youngest too. I feel like you know how we talk about like trying to get them into trades and learn different
Buddy,
things.
what's up?
I feel like sometimes that can be forced too, because you gotta really see what they want too as well. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because a lot of the youngest they really don't know what they want to do. So if you was to bring a program to a certain neighborhood and be like, look,
Send a
try
request if you
this out.
want to join. Send a
If
request.
you'll bring a younger to bring a group to a neighborhood and they be like, try this out or something like that, they'll really be like standoffish to it
yeah.
for real, because they they don't really know if that's what they want to do. You feel what I'm saying?
And part of the breakdown and that I see is that people who are successful that come from our communities move out for some of the obvious reasons. They want to live in safer communities. The price of living in DC too high for the land you're gonna get. Uh, they want to go to I guess better schools, and so they move away because they like, man, I survived the street. I'm not trying to be here. And so that takes some of the strength out of the community, some of the intellectual minds, some of the gifted and talented, some of the, as the W.E.B. Du Bois called the talent self. They move into Prince George's County, Bowie, Largo, Virginia, and it takes some of the strength out of the community, some of the brilliant minds that has the intellectual capacity to provide those bridges for how to get out the hood or how to change their mindset and know who you are, because they're leaving, because DC is pushing people out.
Facts.
And you gotta also add that, we live in the city, man, where it's crab and barrel. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody don't want to see you do well.
That's a
You know
fact.
what I'm saying? And because your level of success shouldn't put your family in no harm. You know what I'm saying? We live in a world where if you become successful, you at danger. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, nowhere in the world do people try to wipe out the plug. You understand what I'm saying? And so, like, it's like we like we say we want help, we want these things, but then you try to take out the people that's
man,
successful.
I live through it every day. I breathe and eat trying to help the community, but you know, it's never gonna be enough.
Yeah.
And that's just the reality. We just gotta keep living for God and keep trying and chipping away at it. But it has to be a collective effort. Um, Dr. King said it best. He said unity or non-existence. We can't
Mhm.
afford to be divided and beefing. DC too small. They say 6 degrees of separation. No, we like 2 to 3 degrees of separation in DC. Jimmy, add one of these youngers in here, man.
I'm about to.
Big four.
I gotta,
Wow.
I gotta clear us. And let me
And
see
make
something.
sure you save and post this, Jimmy. Make sure you got the battery in your phone.
I
Because
got
I don't know what's going on with mine. I didn't hook mine up to
hold
something.
on, look. Go out and then come back.
All right.
We need to address the mindsets, man, of some of our, our airways. So I heard somebody talk about the music is crucial. Like that drill music, people don't really want to talk about it, but that has really destroyed the social fabric of the black community more than crack has ever done.
I try to get the honcho, paperweight honcho, and I try to get the young fellow on him. It says unable to join. I'm clicking on these
They
youngins.
say I see Saddam Wu, he's paying.
Let me see.
Here
Okay,
we go.
got one of them.
Yo,
What's up, young
I
fella?
ain't want to get on here, but I'm gonna get on here. You hear me?
Man, we need you on here.
I mean, I know y'all need me, but man, I don't really be trying to be on this type thing. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna do it for y'all. You
Yeah,
hear me?
Appreciate it,
All
man.
we
right,
appreciate it.
so with some questions though, I can let you know my perspective, like what y'all want to understand, like of the streets, or why like certain things go on. Cause I'm a
One
young.
of the questions was why did youngest feel like they disconnected from getting opportunities, or feel like they don't have opportunities to get to where they need to be like productive citizens outside of choosing the streets. What can be offered to youngest instead of like the streets being offered? Because that's gonna be offered every day. What are you seeing some of the gaps at?
I'm
From
gonna see the guys be like based off like basically like a lot of people can't get hired at a lot of spots, like sure spot, like places you go, they judge the person before they even, you know what I'm saying, even speak out their mouth. You know what I'm saying? I say it's like me, I'm a young black man. If I walk down the White House and we're trying to apply for a job, they call me in for an interview. If I come down there walking the door, they gonna automatically think I'm trying to steal. You
yeah,
feel? You get what I'm saying? So basically, like, and then once I walk up to them, be like, oh, I'm trying to apply for this place. I'm trying to come in and work with y'all. You know what I'm saying? They automatically like, nah, and they head they're like, nah, we ain't gonna hire him, but we'll move on forward with the interview. You get what I'm saying? There's a lot of us out here that do try. They might not show. A lot of youngers might not show that they trying, but a lot of youngers is trying. You know what I'm saying? And they don't get the help that they look for. So the other option is to go to the street. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, like I got a thing of when people said people let they parents let their kids run over. A lot of people don't understand. A lot of people's parents are all drugs and shit, you know what I'm saying? So they can't even take care of themselves, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people jump out there and go on the streets, and they provide for they parents, you know what I'm saying? So they parents feel like, oh, they provide and helping me, so I might as well listen, because obviously doing something better than what I'm doing, you know what I'm saying? Some parents can't take care of their kids,
yeah,
so their kids end up taking care of their parents. You feel me? So you gotta look at the bigger picture of things, you know what I'm saying? You can't always put the blame on the kids, you know what I'm saying? You gotta look at it, because I'm gonna tell you like this, I be out here, I'm one of the young niggas, I'm out on the streets myself, I ain't perfect at all.
yeah,
You feel? I do my little thing, you know what I'm saying? But all I'm gonna say is I be out here trying myself. I try to go out, look for jobs and do this. It never works. You know what I'm saying? I done got hired for places and I got fired because of other people. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'd have been in like predicaments where based off I'm at work doing what I'm doing and somebody do something and I'm around the area and you know what I'm saying? I get accountable for being around in the area. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
A lot of people get fault for other people things. You know what I'm saying? Like basically people judge books by their covers, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It just it's a lot of things that's wrong, you know what I'm saying? The government play a part in it too, you know what I'm saying? That what people gotta understand is like y'all disagree with the little notes that they had put out about what they trying to change. Motherfucker, they but people don't understand is without crime, the government won't make money, and that means the jails will stop having people coming.
Oh, no
Or they
question.
start losing.
Big
They
business.
start losing their money. You know what I'm saying? So it play both sides. You
Thank
know
you,
what I'm saying? It's a part of us, and it's a part that play with them too. You know what I'm saying? It's a win-win situation, but it's a lose-lose situation on top. You get what I'm saying?
And let me say this: just being in DC, like when I got out of school, right, and to your point, we talk about like going work. People talk about the argument between going to HBCUs or PWIs. I heard this the other day. Like more than likely, when coming out of college, you're gonna go work for a white company or the government. We
Say that.
control less than 1% of the businesses in our community, less than 1%, and most people who have a minority business don't have no employees.
And I'm gonna
You know what I'm saying?
tell you another thing. The crime rate is high. When you say people backdooring plugs, why they doing this and that, I'm gonna tell you this why. Because everybody feel like they should be at the top. Nobody want to help the next person out. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of slime things going on. People don't want to help the next man. Everybody want to go to the top by themselves. They don't want to see the next person win. Or it be the people ain't feel like they ain't getting enough money. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of things. If everybody had money, I promise you, the crowd rate won't be where it's at now. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Money
yeah.
play a big picture and a
But
lot of things. You know what I'm saying? I
it,
can say
it's
all my
it's also
perspective.
mindset though, because you can have money if you don't have the right mindset, you'll still think you could do
Nah,
stuff to make other money.
you right.
So it got to be both too, because some people say the lack of money is the root of all evil. Somebody say money is the root of all evil, and there's people that say the lack of money is the root of all evil. So both are equally true, depending on who you're talking to.
You right. You right. You definitely right about that one.
Hey, young fella, let me tell you something, man. We need you to speak up more.
Hey, one thing
You understand what I'm
about it,
saying?
I was on your journal like a year or two ago when you first really got on your thing before you got a position you was at. You was supposed to help me get a job. I told you, I ain't gonna lie, you ain't help me out, man. I came down there to the place, they was closed. What's the little joint right
You
there
talking
on
about
Pennsylvania? Right
oh,
there on Pennsylvania. I'd have came, you'd have told me come down there. I came down
Pennsylvania,
there, the joint was
Pennsylvania,
closed.
Pennsylvania,
The
Pennsylvania.
DC coach, a little building spot.
Oh, the culture.
Yeah. I was supposed to come down there. You was supposed to help me get a
Man,
job. You know what
just
I'm saying?
I can get you a job now. I'm in a different
Yeah,
spot now.
yeah, I already know.
I
I know.
look back then. I had to connect you to somebody else and wait for
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
yeah.
Now I got a different influence.
So part of
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
hearing is we gotta follow up with them, because you know,
And you be
and we
around
gotta have stuff already
my hey
prepared.
Trey, you come around my way. I'm from Good Hope Road, man. You know where I
I
be at.
can't even see who you are, to be honest. Send me
I
your number
ain't
when we get off here.
I ain't trying to
I know. Just send me your number. I'm gonna get in touch with you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, because we need to start a youth
yeah.
movement, man. That's what it come
Yeah.
down to. Like we need to
Presto
show
know
what's
who
really cool.
I am. Yeah, Trey.
What's that child
Let
talking
me tell you,
about?
hey, shorty, man, you shop. You
Hey, now
understand me?
one
Shop.
thing about it, everybody know I'm shot from the streets to the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
Man,
street smart and
but
butt smart, you know what I'm saying?
we need to elevate your voice,
yeah.
because you are able to reach a population generation that we might can't reach. Because if the 24-year-old or 20, how old are you?
I ain't gonna lie, I'm young, man. I'm real young.
Man, how old
I'm
are you, man?
20.
20. Are you?
Dang.
Yeah, you powerful to be 20, man.
You
Man,
20?
we need to hook up, man.
Hey,
We need
Trey,
to start a
we need to
youth movement,
we
Jimmy,
need to do
because the youngest, because the cure, the antidote is in the disease. You know how they take a virus and take a dead pathogen from the virus to give you the cure? That's what we need to do. The youngest got the answer, man. We
hold
need to get in the power to
hey,
turn around themselves.
hey, look, let me tell
They smart,
hey,
man.
let him read that comment right there. Look, young fella, you see that comment right there?
Well,
They
Yeah,
at the culture, it's a whole space now. I got some young dudes that's around your age. They use that space for their own programming for free now.
yeah.
So we're at a different space now.
and,
So I want you to DM me your
but,
number.
but
Me and Trey need to sit down with you and do breakfast
and
Yeah.
because we need you.
another thing I'm hearing from the youngest when we try to get in spaces, they say, man, Trey, I can't go around there.
Right,
I can't work over there.
right.
Man, I can't get on no bus. And so that's another barrier we got to work through, because a lot of people miss opportunity because you might got to go over here, over there,
Yep,
and people can't move like that.
yep. And let me
Nah,
ask
for
you this.
real.
It's a good question. What type of jobs you think your generation are looking for? Are they looking to be more into jobs or entrepreneurs? Like what they really looking for? And then I'm gonna let you
I'm gonna put
down.
I
Hey,
I can give you a little sum, but I can't really give you a full sum. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One thing about me, I'm always keep it real with it. You know what I'm saying? One
Yeah.
thing, like anybody tell that know me from the street, you know what I'm saying? I keeps it real. I'm one of the ones that keep it real. I done fell out with a lot of people, Reese. You know what I'm saying? I cut off. I be in the house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I be on my own world. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? Be a lot of weird things going on. A lot of people ain't got the type of loyalty and the real love as I got, you know what I'm saying? So I just separated myself, you know what I'm saying? I had to look at the bigger picture, you know what I'm saying? Because at first, you know what I'm saying, I was lost myself, you know what I'm saying? I ain't perfect though. Like I'm gonna keep telling y'all, I ain't perfect.
Hey, bro,
So I don't want nobody on here to.
hey, bro, we don't want you to be perfect, bro. We just want you to be able to stand on business. When you say you want to do right, and we help you do right, just know that we putting our names on you, and more importantly, you putting your name on yourself. That's all that
Yeah,
really matters to me. I don't want you to be perfect.
So Jimmy,
yeah.
there's the question: does DC that the bill has transportation for the youngest? They got uh, 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 a
I'm
part of
gonna
the DC budget that gets secure rides. They
answer
got
this
something for secure
question when you
rides.
done though. Go ahead.
Somebody asked about the transportation. So DC has a budget for secure rides. I think that Tia Bell was in a conversation today trying to get some rides for some of the youngest because that's a real issue that we got to address. So they do have that through the one's office. But Jimmy, we need to give
Somebody in the
them a
comments
follow-up date.
say some of them don't care about jobs. They out here trying to scam. One thing about it, if somebody had a job, they won't even be worried about scam. You know what I'm saying? Whoever that is got a bad mindset. They ain't looking at the bigger picture. They just in here trying to get seen. That ain't what that's about.
Jimmy,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
nah, you want it, Jimmy. We need to give a follow-up date so we can get these youngins in one conversation. We can drive that because it's budget time, y'all. I'm saying this because it's $20 billion on the table that's going to get spent to DC. How that happens is going to be determined by who participates, who don't
I,
participate. The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
I need his
And
name
so
though. What's your name, man?
just DM it
They
to us.
call
Just
me
DM it
WAP.
to us.
All right.
DM it to us.
WAP, you need to DM us
We're
right
going to set a
now.
date to come back and follow with all the youngers on here that want to get involved, man.
I'm
Because we
Yeah.
tired.
got to make sure being smart,
I
being
like WAP as the
articulate,
leader.
being sharp is cool.
I like
We
WAP.
need to change the narrative.
I like WAP as the leader. WAP, DM me right now. I'm gonna let somebody else up. Hey, look, soldier, let me tell you something. If ain't nobody tell you this,
That's one
man,
cut.
I love you, Slim.
Yeah.
I love you, Slim.
Love y'all more,
We
man.
got your
Real.
back, man.
Love you,
Damn.
man.
Step in this bitch and I'm ready to work. No welling, yeah, that shit on my shirt.